Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, has Jason being resurrected and goes on a rampage on the town. So Tommy Jarvis has to finally take down Jason Voorhees. So, they finally brought Jason back after Part 5 wasn't received so well when that was, promised for Jason to be back. But now, they made the statement that, Jason is indeed back for Part 6. So, let's get started. The positives on this film are, I actually like Tom Matthews' performance as Tommy Jarvis in the movie. Part 5 had him as a psychotic wimp, but Part 6 actually has him as a person who is hellbent on killing Jason, and I really like that performance. It's really good. I actually kind of like Corey Feldman's performance and character better in Part 4. Not that it's necessarily better, I just kind of prefer it, but this is a good transition piece. It makes much more sense from Part 4 to Part 6. Part 5 is just that weird one, where it's like, that doesn't feel like Tommy Jarvis to me. But here, I really like Tommy Jarvis in this one. It's cool that this movie actually has kids at a camp. The first two had counselors fixing up Camp Crystal Lake. And then Part 3 and 4 had teens at a house to have sex. And then Part 5 had teens at a halfway house having sex. So this is actually the first movie to actually kind of feel like that camp summer vibes. And I really like it. It's a bit different. I like the comedy for the film. It has a different style. This is way more comedic. There's always been comedic elements in the Friday the 13th movies. Like, even the first one, where I think I mentioned it in the review, where it's like, oh, this just kind of feels like a weird teen 80s comedy. And that I did not like. Because it's like, oh, Kevin Bacon is like, oh, I'll flush him out of the bed. Flush out the snake or whatever. And, that didn't work. But here, they go full-on comedy. And I think it actually really works. It makes for a different pace for the movie. It really makes for a different style of humor that I think actually works pretty well. I like the speed sign gag. And when Jason takes Sissy, her slippers fall off, that's kind of funny. And then the two kids, when they're hiding under the bed, one of them says, "What were you going to be when you grow up?" Or grew up. And that was actually funny. So I think this movie is actually pretty funny. I really like that. The movie is different enough from the other Friday the 13th movies. It still has teens at a camp, but it's much more about Tommy trying to finally kill Jason Voorhees, and I think that's actually interesting enough. Parts 1 and 2, I think, kind of do feel the same. Parts 3 and 4, and just about 5, too, also, kind of feel the same. So this one actually feels pretty different, and you can't say that much about any Friday the 13th movie, where this is still kind of the same, but it's different enough. So I actually really like that. And I really like the end credits song. He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask, by Alice Cooper. I think that song is actually pretty cool. It's a great horror icon theme song, and that's kind of like Jason's horror theme song for me. So I actually really like that, and it ends the movie really well. So I like it. So that's it for positives. On to the negatives. I only have two. Some of the movie feels like horror movie skits, kind of like part 5. It's not too connected. You got the couple in the car seeing Jason in the road. You have the couple who get married in the woods. They just kind of feel like kind of here to stack the body count, pad out the body count, and like just some of it doesn't really make I can't say it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't flow well in the with the movie. It's not consistent, and I would much rather just follow more Tommy and Megan because I really like those two characters. So, also another positive, I guess, Megan is also a pretty good character. I like her. So, I wish we just had more of that instead of just more horror movie 5-minute skit things. Because you could have made a pretty cohesive movie. And I think this movie would have been even better. And the other negative is I don't really think it has that many good kills. Sissy's kill is good. I actually kind of like that one. Where Jason spins her head around, and it's actually kind of creepy and cool. So it stands out in the franchise, but that's about the only kill that I really like. Aside from the first kill, I guess, where the first guy gets his heart torn out. That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty graphic. That's decently bloody. And also with Sissy, that's not bloody. Although I do like that kill. It's not bloody. You don't see any blood, so that's a little weird, but those two kills I do think are actually pretty good. But the other ones, other kills aren't really that graphic, not really that memorable, so, and it actually, you watch the movie, you watch the kills, and it really stands out like, there's not that much blood in this movie. And that was also kind of the problem with Part 5. This is about the time where the MPAA was cracking down hard on horror movies, like no, not a lot of blood, can't do that, for whatever reason. But, so, and honestly, I think if this had just some graphic kills, I mean, like, if it added on with what it already has with some pretty graphic kills, I don't know, maybe this might be my favorite Friday the 13th. It's up there. It's certainly up there. It's in, like, the top third of the movies, for sure. But it's not necessarily, like, my favorite. But in the end, I do really like this one. It's funny. The negatives are pretty small. This, just like Part 4, would have actually made for a pretty good conclusion. Like, if this was the last Friday the 13th movie, although it doesn't have the final word in it, I think it actually would have made for a nice conclusion for the franchise also. But we still got, 6 more movies, except I won't review Freddy vs. Jason, because I already reviewed that. But I will rewatch Freddy vs. Jason for the ranking of the Friday the 13th movies, and also top 13 moments of the franchise. So just with that, but no re-review for Freddy vs. Jason and whatnot. But in the end, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, it's actually pretty fun, and it's actually really enjoyable, so I approve of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Thanks for watching.